Hello once again, welcome to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the mouth of Michigan, Rob Medika. With me, as always, the Merkzone, Mike Merkel.
I'm right here.
And of course, the lovely, the brain, Emily Merkel.
Hello, hello.
I was going to say, you got to make noise there. We are on a podcast first, right? I know you're just playing it up for the YouTubers, but and everything. But the podcast people deserve love too. They get the episode first,
I don't know when this became like, let's make fun of Emily for no reason, but it's whatever.
An hour straight, that would be a long time. I'm just saying. Okay, guys, we have so many different topics to go into. We're going to hit the NFL Combine like we promised. We're hitting that right off the bat. We're talking to Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals situation. We've obviously got another edition of the Merkzone Mock Draft Corner.
Always.
We've got the LeBron and the Lakers situation and what big dumpster fire that is becoming. And to end it all, we've got Dave Batista coming back to the WWE, and are we really happy to see him, or is this just a money grab by Batista? Let's find out. But let's go start off the same way we always do. We're going to talk NFL football. We're talking the NFL Combine more specifically. I don't know how about you guys, but just right off the bat, I love the NFL Combine. Mm-hmm. I sat down and I watched all 3 days of it, all on-field drills. I love pretty much everything about it for the most part. So I'm really about the Combine. I think it's a great tool to see guys that aren't talked about in the first round and see, ooh, that could be. I'm hoping that guy's there in the second round. Hoping that guy's there later on. And to kind of get some insider knowledge, what the scouts see. Daniel Jeremiah, now taking over from Mike Mayock on the NFL Network, has a lot of great analysis as far as what he was looking at as a scout for so long, what he sees. It's just a great event for the fans who truly love the sport. So I'm gonna ask you, Mike. First off, do you enjoy the Combine as much as I do? Does it help you at all get any picture of who you think the Lions may go after in later rounds, thinking, based off of what you think they'll do in free agency, like we talked about, last week?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the Combine, but at the same time, I'm more of the film kind of guy. I'll watch film on people because you're not playing against anybody.
Correct.
You got your skill sets. Say, for instance, you're watching the quarterbacks throw to receivers, but the quarterbacks aren't throwing against, there's no defensive backs out there.
Right.
They're not to your normal receivers.
Right.
So everything's kind of slanted a little bit almost. It's kind of skewed a little bit, especially for them specifically.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I don't really like it. I'd rather watch them as their quarterback as they were in college, playing against tougher teams and seeing how they produce there. Yeah. But at the same time, it is nice to see guys, even guys locally like Sean Bunting, who went to Chippewa Valley, that's a couple miles from here, and he went to CMU, so he didn't see that competition to see him how he develops and how he could be a pro player. Right. It's kind of fun to watch.
And that's the beauty of the Combine, right? Is that you see these guys that are that come out and you're like, oh my gosh, they went to North Dakota State Penitentiary, you know what I mean? They played at a jail.
They went to prison.
Yeah, exactly. But the point being is that there's guys that you see and you're just like, who the heck are these guys? Eastern Michigan and other schools that are even below that. I know there's been guys that Albion and those kind of places you see one or two guys scattered in there. So it's very fun. And we were watching it over the past weekend, and you actually said that you actually really enjoy watching the Combine. Give me a reason why you like it. Is it just because they're moving really fast and you don't realize how big these guys are out of pads?
Well, given that we sometimes see Detroit Lions players in person randomly walking around, I've now realized that these are very large human beings.
Ah, yeah.
And so, that's well, when I sit in the stands, they look kind of short because they're on the ground and I'm up in the stand, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just think it's really, I think it's just fun. You know what I mean? To be able just to, watch it. It's kind of like the Olympics in a way, where,
it is.
You know what I mean? Yeah. People are just running around. I think that next year, and I don't know if Rob agrees with me, I think we should do a segment when the I'm Always Right podcast staff tries to run some of the combine exercises, and we'll film it, put it on YouTube. It would be hilarious. Because they always joke in the Olympics, right? They're like, we wish we could see a normal person doing this.
I think next year, yes. I think we should run 40-yard dashes and donate to the Run Rich Run charity for St. Jude, like Rich Eisen does every year. I think that'd be an awesome thing. So that's a great topic that
I wasn't trying to be that wholesome. I was just trying to be fun. But
no, that's truly what it is, and that's something that the NFL does and that Rich Eisen does, which is a great cause. I don't know necessarily if it helps the casual fan as far as who they think they're going to take in the draft if you're the Lions' perspective, right? What I do think it does, though, is a lot of times in the Combine, a lot of, the top 40 names, right? That there's such a hyper focus on those guys, the Rashawn Garys, the Quinnen Williams, these guys who are all kind of go in there and say, okay, are they as athletically gifted as we think they are, right? And I think for a lot of fans, that's what they watch the combine for is, okay, everybody says that these 3 guys are possibilities for the Lions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to really focus on these 3 guys and say, yeah, I didn't like that. Like, for instance, Cleveland Farrell from Clemson, right?
Yeah.
Did not test very well at the combine. You know what I mean? And then, as we'll go into later, all the mock drafts now, he was at number 8 going to Detroit, or even higher in some drafts, and now he's in the bottom half of the first round, just based off of the combine, right? You see guys like Montez Sweat, you see Devin White, you see Brian Burns from Boston College, all these guys that are kind of shot up, right? Which leads me to my next topic is, who are the big winners in this combine, right? Because there was a lot of guys that came out of this looking a lot better.
Yeah.
From the tape, you don't really know what you have necessarily. You look at their size and you go, I don't know. You know, they were somewhat productive.
Yeah.
You know, because these are the best athletes in college that get invited to the combine every year. But when you look at it and you go, okay, these are the kind of guys that grade out of their mind, right? Give me somebody that you noticed watching that was a big winner in your opinion. They did something that just made you notice them and were like, wow, like that guy's an athletic freak. Or, you know, and also give me somebody who maybe was a disappointment, right? Somebody that maybe, you know, that you've heard me and Mike talk about as far as maybe a possible target for the Lions to go get. Somebody that you think, yeah, you completely just big swing and a miss.
I think that probably biggest winner off the top of my head, a little tie between 2. I just think Montez Sweat, his 40 time was just like super impressive.
Right.
Especially
4-4.
when you think of like how big of a guy he is, and because I think I watched the defensive
line.
The defensive line most in depth.
linebackers.
I think we sat there for the longest time. So that was just really impressive. I also think Paris Campbell, because like a lot of the other guys who were impressive, I feel like I'd heard their names a lot more. Paris Campbell was one that, like, I mean, I'm pretty casual, but I didn't hear his name quite as much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, he caught really well,
right.
did a good job. You know?
For those who don't know who that is, right, he's a wide receiver from Ohio State. I think all 3 wide receivers from Ohio State had a pretty nice day at the combine. I think 2 out of the 3 ran sub 4.4. One, I think, was a 4.41. So, I mean, they were all right there. Just goes to show you how fast they were. I mean, you can really tell those crossing routes against Michigan. If you couldn't tell, you can tell now. Mike, give me somebody who you were really impressed with at the combine. Anybody in particular that you were like, wow, that guy really stood out to me, or you know, or somebody that was just like, wow, that was really bad.
Well, I mean, the biggest name I think coming out of the combine was DK Metcalf.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just everything from how big he is to how fast he is.
Yes.
And everything in between. I mean,
6'3", 226 pounds, ran a 4.3 40, and is got 1.7, 6 or 7% body fat. So that's a grown ass man, folks, is what we're saying.
Yeah, and he jumped like 45 inches or something. So like he's literally an all around type player.
Genetic freak.
Yeah, genetic freak is what we'll call him here.
Right.
And someone else, I think Noah Fant.
Yes.
Font or Fant?
Not sure. What?
Sure, we'll go Fant.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I like that.
I'm sure there's so many signs.
I think he actually probably rose up, especially because when you compare him to Hawkinson.
Yes.
I think Fant did a little. I wouldn't even say that much better, but I think he played better at the combine than
I totally agree
people
with you.
expected.
Absolutely. I know Hawkinson looked good, but Fant to me looked more like a prototypical tight end now, right? Where I wasn't, you know, Hawkinson ran like a 4.7, Fant I think ran 4.4. I think blocking-wise, the blocking and the positional drills, I didn't see that much difference between Hawkinson and Fant. Obviously, the tape shows a different story, but Fant is definitely a receiving tight end, right?
Yes.
That's what he is, right? He's got that kind of speed. He has natural hands, right? That's something that they were looking forward to in the draft. I agree with you on Fant. And give me a big disappointment. Somebody who you know, because like you said, we did watch a lot of defensive linemen. We watched a lot of the defensive side of the ball just as Lions fans. Anybody that you saw that was kind of a bummer to you?
I don't know. Hold on. So again, that's not my experience. I think Rashawn Gary, right?
Yeah.
When they were doing all that throwing around stuff, I don't think he caught the ball once. Like, and I know everyone makes a big deal about him, but that was just the one thing, because everyone's like, because you don't want him to go to Lions.
No.
And everyone keeps thinking he's going to go to Lions or something. I don't know.
No.
That was a conversation that you were stressed out that would happen on Mike's mock draft.
Yeah,
but I just remember being like, there's this big old guy from Michigan that everyone keeps talking about, and he can't catch the dang ball. I mean, I know it's not his full-time job, but like, I'm like, catch the ball.
Here's the thing.
So I don't think that was overarching. It's just as a Michigan person, it's like the thing I noticed.
Right, of course. Chase Winovich?
Yeah, he caught the ball more. He did a better job.
Right, obviously the defensive lineman, right? So a lot of those drills are for, you know, some of those are for linebackers and stuff. But if you are a guy like Rashawn Gary, who you're supposed to be this athletic freak, I agree with you that some of the athleticism, I think, was missing a little bit from him. Once again, as the Mike alluded to, Rashawn Gary's tape, to me, does not scream first-round talent. I don't. He did not. For me, when he was not in the game, I did not notice that he was gone as much as I would notice somebody else. Like, I noticed when Devin Bush was not on the field for Michigan's defense.
Yeah.
I didn't notice necessarily Rashawn Gary wasn't there. I think they had enough depth at defensive line this year. Give me a guy, Mike, who you thought was just kind of meh at the draft, who kind of missed their mark to really show off.
And this one's gonna be weird to say. I don't think Greedy Williams had a great combine.
I think you know what? I'm not against that.
I think he was fast, which is nice, but at the same time doing all the cover stuff, he didn't look very good.
Look stiff, right?
Yep. And I'm not a big fan. And as a whole, I'm not a big fan of drafting corners at all,
especially in the first round.
Especially first round. If you're going like late rounds, maybe to develop or something, fine. But like first round pick, looking at someone like Greedy Williams, I'd be very nervous now because one, he's not the best defender. He was just known for speed.
Right.
And now you see in the combine, he's not. He can't turn his hips.
Yeah.
He can't do all this stuff as in-depth stuff.
Absolutely.
And so just being fast, as you see by the people that we previously had, like Nevin Lawson, who's quite quick on his feet.
Yep.
He's not a good defender.
Right.
And that's what you need.
Preach, brother. Preach. Absolutely. I think the whole cornerback class as a whole, I think Deion Sanders even mentioned on the show, he was like, I'm not impressed at all with these guys. I didn't see anything to really stood out to me as a guy where I'm like, I got to take him at 8, right? And taking a corner in the first round, I'm okay. Second, third round, fine, right? Because there you may be getting some value, right? Because maybe he's the best player available. But to your point, first-round cornerbacks, there's such a steep learning curve. Corner and quarterback are the two probably the hardest two positions to come right into the league and start and play and be effective, right? It's extremely difficult. So my winner for I'm actually going to go back-to-back tight ends here, actually, on my winner and loser. My winner is going to be Irv Smith Jr. from Alabama, the tight end. I've seen a lot of people say that he was a loser, but I could not disagree more. I thought he ran well. I thought he had a solid 40 time. I thought he caught the ball effectively, especially in the gauntlet drill. I thought the biggest thing, and that's my favorite drill, is the gauntlet when it comes to receivers and tight ends, because the ability to run in a straight line, not weave in and out, right, and get your hands up and make a not a body catch, right? I want you to go out, grab the football, right, and be looking and running upfield and run it in sprinting, not jogging. Hawkinson jogged that entire thing. Yeah. You can tell me he didn't, but he did. Either that or he's slow. So you pick your poison. I thought Irv Smith really did a nice job of securing he's the number 3 tight end in this draft, and somebody where especially if the Lions don't go 8 at a tight end there or trade down and take Hawkinson or Fant, I think he was definitely available in the second round, where I maybe not as upset about them taking a guy like that. He was athletic. He caught the ball well. A guy here that I thought did not perform well, and somebody that I thought looked really stiff, and I put a lot of emphasis on the tight end position, and if you follow us on Twitter, you'd realize that I was live tweeting a lot of that. The tight end position, because the Lions it's such a premium for the Lions right now, I thought Zach Gentry proved to show everybody that he should have stayed in school for another year. I thought he didn't catch the ball well. He ran a slow 40 time. I think he was at a 4.8, 4.9, something like that. It wasn't crisp. The height, he's so tall, it really worked against him in there. He didn't look crisp. His in routes were shaky at best. He didn't look like he could create separation. Like you said, he didn't catch the ball well. You know, he's not been known as a good blocker by any means, you know. So I think a guy like that, where he's a fringe draftable player, right? 5th, 6th, 7th round, really hurt his stock. So he really needs to have a good pro day, because right now I don't see him getting drafted right now, honestly. He's big, but as we saw as Michigan fans, I don't look at Zach Gentry and go, oh yeah, red zone target.
Yeah.
He's big, but it's not, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Last question though on the combine before we move to the Kyler Murray stuff. Kyler Murray, right, didn't throw. Didn't participate, but he was there. If you go to the combine, should you participate in the drills? As long as you're not hurt, right? If you're healthy, you get invited, you're going to go. Do you think you should go? Because it annoys the hell out of me when a guy like that, when you don't go out and compete, right? Because to my mind, if you're supposed to be I hated it when Stafford didn't do it. I hated it when, name a guy, I didn't like it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things for me. It's like, go out and throw and do it and compete against the guy and prove to me and show the rest of the world, I'm the number 1 pick. Bosa was out there. Josh Allen was out there. Haskins was out there. What makes you so special?
Well, I mean, at the same time, I think you don't. I wouldn't say you have to do it.
Yeah.
I'm more of a pro day kind of person. Like if I was in it,
right.
I was a top guy, I'd just go to my pro day. if you're going to the combine though, it's different. Maybe you do have to.
Yeah.
I'm more, as I say, I'm a pro day guy though, so I would never even attempt to go to the combine. I think it sets up top tier guys to fail, because if you're the number one pick, if you're Kyler Murray and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the number one pick, and then you're throwing very inaccurately to receivers you've never thrown to before and stuff, it could just lower your draft stock at that point. It's almost like in college football we talked about, I think, on their second show, where we're talking about should you go to the bowl games?
Right. If you're not playing for a championship, there's no reason for you to play.
Yeah, you should just leave, because at that point, if you get hurt or you throw 6 interceptions, you just lower your draft stock in a big game like that. Kyler Murray's sitting there and he's missing receivers left and right and stuff, and you don't know if he would or not, but you should just go to your pro day instead, do everything there, and you have your receivers that you trust.
I just look at it as that's a spot for somebody else that could have had that, right? And to be able to be like, hey, that fringe guy that may not go to a big school like Oklahoma, who had decent to solid numbers, right? Could be a decent prospect in later rounds. I think should have the opportunity to throw and show off his skills rather than the other way around. All right, let's move now from. I want to kind of continue this Kyler Murray talk here, though. There's a lot of rumors about him going to the Arizona Cardinals at number 1, which means that they're basically abandoning the Josh Rosen experiment just 1 year in, really putting all your eggs in the Cliff Kingsbury offensive basket, which Texas Tech fans will show you wasn't very fruitful. But give me, Em, I'll start with you. Smart move to take Kyler at number 1. You've already you traded up to get Josh Rosen last year. Should you take Kyler too and just say, you know what, we're going to trade Josh for whatever we can get?
I don't know. I feel like he might be a little overrated.
I love it. I love when it comes with hot takes.
I don't know, because there's always this random guy who comes out of nowhere every draft season who suddenly everyone decides that they're really on the Kyler Murray bandwagon.
To be fair though, he did win the Heisman.
No, he won the Heisman, but we had a discussion about that. What episode was that? A couple episodes ago?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
we've done so many of these now, they lose count.
I mean, it's not working out for them with what they have currently. The Mr. Rosen thing isn't really working, so. Yeah, but I mean maybe go for it if you need a quarterback. I mean, I think he's probably the hottest quarterback in the draft right now. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, but if they want him, if you don't take him, someone else is gonna take him in the first round.
Well, yeah, he'll be a top 10 pick more than likely, right? That's just it. Mike, same question to you, right? Do you think that they should take him, or do you think they should stick it out with Rosen? Because Rosen didn't have anybody last year. No. Kirk got hurt. Fitzgerald's 95 years old. David Johnson sucks.
95 years old.
You know what I mean? And your offensive line was banged up, and you don't have a tight end. You know what I mean? So it's not like he was set up, and Byron Leftwich was calling plays.
Okay.
Talk about not setting him up for
so
success.
This is, you can almost throw this in the exact same situation that Stafford was walking into, and this is almost what could have happened where you go, okay, so Stafford's first season he was 4-12, and then but there's this guy, so we're just gonna ditch the Stafford train on the first year. Why?
Right.
And especially when you're Arizona, you're the number 1 pick for a reason.
Right. I mean, your
quarterback's
bad.
Yeah, the quarterback problem is not your only problem, and. So I think you need to fill out the team first. As you said, you don't have any receivers beside Larry Fitzgerald. You don't have a tight end. You have no offensive line. You don't have anyone that can run the ball, and your defense can't stop anybody. I think that's your point of disaster. Other than just quarterback. Right. You just blame the quarterback.
At that point, you're at number 1. You should be taking best player available, which is Bosa. Take Bosa, stack him up with Chandler Jones, and then live to fight another day.
Yeah.
I mean,
with that pass rush, you'll get to the quarterback in 3 seconds. You'll probably get a lot more turnovers. Yep. Your turnover rate will rise just with them two as impact players, and then that's when you can give Rosen, who's not even a bad quarterback, from what I've seen.
Every scout has said in this draft, right, he'd probably be the number 2, maybe behind Kyler or right up, rivaling Kyler as the number 1 quarterback in the draft.
Exactly, and when you look at it like that, I mean, you're going to just give away a top tier quarterback at that point for Kyler Murray. Right. I just don't understand the logic behind it, I guess.
I agree. I'm in total agreement with you. I think Arizona right now, I think Steve Keim, their general manager, feels like pressure's on, right? Yeah. Because he's been in the job so long. They had success with Carson Palmer, but similar to John Elway, haven't been able to figure out the quarterback situation, right? You take Josh Rosen, hoping he's going to be a guy, does not have a great rookie year, but nobody on that team had a great year, right? You fired your coach after 1 season, after Bruce Arians retired. He knew this place was going to be a dumpster fire. So rather than abandoning ship,
Yes.
Because he doesn't just all of a sudden suck. You know what I mean? It's either he's either going to be the guy or he's not. But there's no way for you to tell.
Yes.
If this isn't the 7th round guy you started and said, wow, he played not bad for being a 7th round pick.
Exactly.
You traded up to get him last year.
And let's tie this into the Lions a little bit, because you could look at the Lions, and I think this is what we're going to go into.
Yeah,
so I'm just
absolutely.
going to bring it up right now.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have, like, say, Stafford here. So let's just ask, what do you think the Lions' biggest needs are? Top 3 needs.
Tight end, corner, and defensive end.
Defense end?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Not in that order.
Yeah, so you're sitting at number 8,
Yeah.
and you need those 3 needs, and say Kyler's on the board. Would you take Kyler?
No.
No. Because your roster's not complete yet.
Right.
Now let's, in a theory where you get Trey Flowers, you get Landon Collins, you get a decent, good second corner,
Right.
and
Darby or something like that.
and then you get some like Dwayne Allen, you get some corner or a tight end that's decent enough. At that point, with a more, would you consider taking Kyler?
Yeah, but if you're the Lions, just speaking strictly for the Lions themselves, at that point you have the hottest pick in the draft because you know someone's trying to go get him.
Exactly.
Right?
So you could probably trade down.
Exactly.
But
But if he's the best player on your board and you think, right, like say this is if this was next year, I'd be more inclined to do it because if next year they go 6-10, there's a problem at this point. So they go 6-10 next year, they're in 4th place, and Stafford has another year like he has now. Now you have to start thinking about contingency plans, and that's definitely fresh in my mind. But now, as I sit here right now, no, I'm not taking
before
him.
free agency and everything.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense to me as a team and an organization when you have so many needs that you're like, oh, well, quarterback's the problem. When Josh Rosen, to me, at least, first season is not the problem with the team because he actually played good.
Yeah, I think he was. Mike McCoy's offense has clearly been proven it doesn't work. Right, been fired from 3 offensive coordinator jobs. Byron Leftwich is going to flounder in Tampa. I don't care what anybody says. It's just going to happen. So to abandon ship, right? And here's the thing though. If it was the Stafford era, you almost couldn't do this because of all the guaranteed money you're paying a guy, right? So you're forcing a team to kind of stay on this bandwagon. Whereas now, you trade Josh Rosen, you paid him $10 million guaranteed anyway. That's already on your books, whatever. But now, now I can trade this guy, and another team's going to say, great, I'll take. This would be a New England move. All right, we'll trade you our 2nd round pick for Josh Rosen, and he turns into the next franchise guy. Exactly. It's such a New England move.
If I was New England, I wouldn't even put it past them at this point.
Right, absolutely.
You can trade a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and you get your quarterback for the next 10 years.
Right, and I know a lot of people are making it, and I'm glad you brought up the Lions because the Lions did do a formal interview with both Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray, right? And I know people are going to make a big deal about that and say, oh my gosh, they're going to take quarterback number 8 because, as Bob Quinn said in his end of the year press conference, we're not going to rule any one position out. So that also means they probably talked to some kickers and some long snappers. So we're probably going to take a quarterback, a kicker, a punter, and a long snapper in our first 4 rounds. If that's the logic we're going to use. But point being, everyone kind of knows my opinion. I'm not taking Kyler Murray. I'm trading down. I'm doing whatever I need to do to take somebody else. Mike, are you taking Kyler Murray at number 8? If he's there?
Only if what I said, like if you get a more... If free agency allows
goes exactly according to plan.
Not even like I mean, if you don't get like Trey Flowers, if you get like some decent. We had a tweet we were just talking about before the show. With like a dream scenario, it was like 7 guys you could realistically get for $35 million in the cap space we had. And it included like Landon Collins and
Kareem Jackson,
and all these guys.
Some pieces, right?
Some pieces. If you got all those pieces that you said, I would have no problem taking Kyler to sit behind Stafford for a year, or even if Stafford does play like he did last year, just. Do your thing.
Screw it.
Do your thing. And you can even it's an experiment at that point then because you have more pieces around the team. But if we're just going like tomorrow's the draft, I'm not taking Kyler Murray.
Right. And same question. Are you taking Kyler Murray at number 8?
No.
Okay, clearly. Okay. Why are you not taking him? Is it just because you don't think they need a quarterback? Do you think that because I'm still on that train and I'm always going to be on that train until something happens, right? Where Stafford's the guy for me, right? So I think that they can win. But to Mike's point, if this was a year from now, and we're sitting here and having the exact same conversation, we're picking top 10 again without some sort of trade happening, I'm a diehard Stafford guy.
I also have a dream scenario that I want for myself to happen in like a year or two, so we've talked about it, I think, before.
We'll talk about that.
But that's probably a different time. But
we'll do a preview of the 2020 draft, and we'll talk.
Yeah, because I think you know what I'm thinking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
But back to Evan, though. So, why don't you want Kyler? Is it just because he interviewed poorly at the combine? Is it because you're a Stafford fan because I've ruined you? What is the what is the rationale there?
Okay, I'm gonna scoop this table for a second.
Why?
I'm not very loyal to anyone.
Right.
So Matt Stafford can stay or go. It doesn't really bother me.
How
I
dare
mean,
you.
I know that's why I'm moving.
I get why she's moving
I'm
now.
moving away from the table. But I mean, I think he's a good quarterback, and I think, especially with Lions fans, he gets a lot of flack because it's like the quarterback is the only reason
Quarterback,
we're gonna lose.
relief pitcher, goalie, and point guard. Those are the 4 spots that you don't want to be in Detroit for.
No, well then it's like it's your fault that we lost the game.
Right.
So, but I also think that's weird messaging too. Like if we're like, no, we're like Stafford's getting another year. Like we're pushing this as our guy right now. Then you like go draft like the hottest quarterback in the draft. That's like really odd messaging. One, like as a team, and two, I just don't think you need it right now. Next year, if we're in a bad spot, but for all the other things that you need,
Right.
Yes.
that's not your big one. And I don't know. I'm wondering if the guy's got a little bit of an ego on him.
Yeah, I think people are
I don't know.
really...
We got a lot of divas in the NFL.
I think people are really infatuated with the Baker Mayfield situation in Cleveland, so I think they're really hoping that translates and that's going to be the new wave, right? When they very well could,
Do you know how
right?
bad Cleveland was though?
Yeah, but they won.
Anything's better than what they
Unfortunately,
were.
they're better than us last year. So
Right, they won more games last year than they did in like the previous 4. But we're not going to talk about it. All right, that's going to be it for part 1 of this episode. Part 2 coming up. We got the Merkzone Mock Draft. We got LeBron and the Lakers, and we're talking a little WWE action. So stay right there, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, this is Emily the Brain, just popping in to remind you, in case we haven't said it enough yet, that we are now live on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and a ton of other streaming services. So anywhere you find your usual podcast, you should be able to find us. Please check it out and give it a listen.
All right, welcome back to part 2 of episode 15. We're halfway to 30, guys. Okay, so let's jump right in now. I know
You're
it's a lot of
over halfway
NFL. Dude, don't remind me. That's such a bummer. It totally threw me off my game there. Okay, Merkzone Mock Draft. We're doing it every week until the draft. If you don't like it, I don't care. We're doing it anyway. But, so let's go right into it. Mike is going to give us a 3-round mock. He's going to give us the first 5 picks, as well as the Lions picks, and then going to go down through the first round, tell us any of our division opponents that he sees, and anything interesting, and then obviously the second and third rounds, and all at the same time, I'm going to try to not have a heart attack, and I'm just going to sit here and think that I'm ridiculous. So that's kind of how our life works here on IAR.
That's not any different than like any usual time.
I know,
period in our
or
life.
any other show, any other time. It's just how we operate. All right, Mike. Let's go first. Give me the first overall. It's a big shocker. I know. I'm sure it's gonna be Rashawn Gary, right?
It's me. actually.
God,
No.
you're right.
I'd fall out of my chair.
All right, so we're picking number 1. Arizona's picking
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, gross. It's so gross. We just talked ad nauseum about that. I can't wait for it to actually be the pick so we can talk about it some more and I can laugh at the Cardinals. It'll be
Yes, I cannot wait. That's all we've been talking about.
All right, give me number 2.
Number 2, San Francisco is picking Nick Bosa, edge rusher.
They're so thrilled. They're so thrilled about this Kyler Murray stuff because they're like, oh, we got the best player in the draft. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Solomon Thomas. You've got DeForest Buckner. You got Richard Sherman on the back. That's just stupid.
So here's
It's so irritating.
so number 3.
Yeah.
The
Jets, right?
No, the Giants are predicted to trade up with the Jets
all right.
to go get Dwayne Haskins.
Wow, really? So they're thinking that they need to move up to beat maybe Jacksonville or somebody else.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I know they're technically Jacksonville's behind them, right, in the order, but thinking Jacksonville could probably trade up. I know Washington just traded for Case Keenum, but that's not a long-term solution, clearly. So,
Well, I think
or
with
even
the-
Miami.
I was gonna say even the rumors though that like the Raiders don't really love
Derek Carr. Right. There's a lot of
I think
speculation.
if the Giants really love Haskins, I think that could be a move.
That wouldn't shock me. We saw the Bears move 1 spot just to get Trubisky. You know what I mean? And everybody was really confused. So that's interesting. Doesn't shock me. The pick in the team though, as far as guy, a player to team, that doesn't. That's been mocked
Now
all day.
this is funny because number 4, the Raiders pick Drew Lock, the quarterback.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So 3 quarterbacks in the top 4. Jeez.
And that's funny because they probably were like, all right, if Haskins is there, we're going to take him. And then right when that trade happens,
Yeah.
and then he's
and
like,
you're like, oh crap.
All right,
That
who's
seems.
next?
That's the thing though. That's a weird move for me because I think at that point, the Raiders. I mean, I guess because you have multiple first-round picks, I think if that happens and they take a quarterback at 4, right, especially Drew Lock, which I think you could probably get a little bit lower, I feel like that means they traded for Antonio Brown. Almost. It means like they gave away one of those picks, one of the other first-round picks, and we're like, okay, we have a receiver, a number 1 guy, right? we'll figure out the running back situation, and we're just going to chuck the ball deep.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that's very interesting. That shocks
So
me.
now number 5, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are picking Devin White.
What?
Linebacker LSU.
What is happening right now? This is the craziest draft ever.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so you're meaning to tell me that Josh Allen is still on the board at 6.
Yes. Now here's where it gets interesting.
Oh,
because
boy.
if you're the Lions at 8, now
Yes,
I'll tell you right now.
I'm trading up right
Josh
now.
Allen goes 6 to the Jets.
Nope, I'm trading up right now. I'm calling the Jets, and I'm being like, I will swap there, and we'll go somewhere, and we'll take our 3rd round, whatever. I'm trading up, and I'm going to get Josh Allen. He's the 2nd best player in the draft.
Going 6.
Going number 6, right? Because teams fell in love with quarterbacks, which is another reason why, Lions fans, you should be thankful that Matt Stafford's on your team. So you don't have to do this crap every year. But the point being is that you can now then go get a guy like that who can play the outside linebacker and put his hand in the ground like that. That is the move that if the Lions are going to be bold about it, that's what I want.
Mhm.
That's what I want to have. But the Jets.
But right now, so the Jets
take him and ruin my life. Got it.
So
Sounds
number
good.
7.
Good pick for them though. Hell of a pick.
Jacksonville takes Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle out of Alabama.
See, that kind of shocks me. He's best player available, right? But they took Taven Bryan last year. They still have Marcel Darius. They've got Malik Jackson. They've got Calais Campbell. How many? You can only put so many D linemen out there, right?
Yeah, well,
So I feel like that spot, I'd almost rather go off offense, maybe offensive line, or even skill position. Like DK Metcalf at that spot where you get Nick Foles and you missed out on your quarterback for the future. That I don't know. That's a little interesting.
So
okay,
now,
so we're 8, right? We don't trade
8.
down.
Nope. So we're sticking at 8. What do you think we go? Let's
Okay.
just throw it out there.
All right, so Devin White's gone. Thank the Lord, right? So Hawkinson's still on the board.
Yes.
Sweat's on the board.
Yes.
Fant's on the board. Yes, Emily, you are also on the board.
Yes.
I picked you though, so it's okay. I'm gonna go. Farrell's still on the board. Brian Burns is still on the board. I'm gonna go Brian Burns, Boston College, just because the New England thing. He's an undersized guy, but he had a great combine. He's an athletic freak. I feel like that's somebody Patricia just go. I can make the guy start.
Okay. This draft has the Lions picking Montez Sweat.
I should have. Yeah, that was my original gut thing. Here's the thing about Sweat. In the future, yes, I think that you can do exactly what you're going to want to do. I think he could turn into a playmaker, right? Mm-hmm. I think his athletic ability at the beginning, though, he's going to have to be a guy that sticks his hand in the ground, and he's going to have to go, and he's just going to have to rush. I don't hate that pick. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they don't go linebacker. I'm glad they don't go tight end at 8. That's one thing we haven't. You got all these mock drafts. You've picked not one of them. You've got a tight end going to the Lions. I just noticed that. That's crazy. I'm so happy. I wouldn't hate that pick personally. That tells me okay. They think he's the best pass rusher on the board. That means hopefully, in my dream scenario, they went and got Landon Collins and Kareem Jackson, and they just got the best player available on their board. Is what they just did. I don't hate that pick, but once again, there's some contingency on my free agency dreams too.
Are you excited to have a line jersey that says Sweat on the back?
No, see, if you're a true Lions fan, you don't buy the rookie jersey because then you ruin them. Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
I mean, like in the future going forward.
If he's a Hall of Famer, yeah, then I'll buy it. I'll support. Stafford played enough seasons where I could ruin him at that point. That's why I got his jersey.
Maybe right when you got his jersey is.
Yeah, that's what he went to. That's what he turned to shit.
So just to name some guys in this first round, DK Metcalf goes right after us to the Bills at number 9.
That doesn't surprise me. Josh Allen, just chuck it deep. See what happens.
Yeah,
pretty much. They need receivers too. They need receivers desperately right now.
Devin Bush, linebacker, goes to Cincinnati at 11.
It's a Cincinnati pick all the way.
Rashad Gary goes to the Miami Dolphins at 13.
Wow, he fell to 13 in that draft, huh? That's once again though, right? It's one of those things to where what?
I told you he lost.
Yeah, I know. He was a loser, right?
He was a loser.
Lost out on that top 10 money. That doesn't shock me there. I think Brian Flores can make him a stud, though. Yeah. Really, I think he could.
Some big name D linemen. Ed Oliver goes to Falcons. Burns goes to Washington. Clean Farrell goes to the Panthers.
Okay, what do the Packers take? Because that's a lot of pass rushers, a lot of defensive guys.
So
there.
Packers pick 12 right before Rashad Gary goes. Yeah. So they pick Jonah Williams, offensive guard out of Alabama.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird. I totally expect them to go defense because their defense was totally just trash last year. Okay, what's their other pick? Because they have a second one. I think it's the Saints pick that for last year. For Marcus Davenport. I think they have.
So they pick 30. Yeah. And they pick Jalen Ferguson, edge rusher out of Louisiana Tech.
Okay, that makes more sense. I figured they might be able to get away with switching that because I think Bradbury from NC State could play guard too, but that's just me. But all right, give me the Lions second round.
All right, so in the second round, We take. Who do you think?
I'm going to go tight end Irv Smith Jr.
Nope.
Damn.
I thought you didn't want them to draft the tight end.
In the second round, I'm fine.
Oh,
Just
the
not in
second
the
round.
first
It's just
round.
the first round. Okay.
Pay attention, Em.
We didn't
Jeez.
say the first round. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
All right, who
trying,
they
guys.
taking?
They pick Amani Urawai, cornerback.
The guy at Penn State?
Yes.
Yeah. That's been a common pick, right, for a couple times now where they've taken him. That's a guy that I think a lot of people have pegged on the Lions for a couple reasons. He's a big guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got some pretty solid man-to-man coverage skills, but more than anything, the biggest thing that, and I think Lions fans need to understand this, to play a Matt Patricia-style defense, you have to be able to tackle.
Yes.
There's such a premium on tackling. You play a lot of isolation, man-to-man coverage that you have to be able to tackle. Greedy Williams can't tackle, folks. It's just not a thing for him. I'm sorry. It's not. So a guy like him, bigger guy, I think that's a Lions pick, and I think that's somebody that you see that coming in. So I don't hate that pick, but that also probably means he didn't get Kareem Jackson then. So I wonder what the hell they did in free agency, but I can't wait for free agency.
You create like full
starts
universes.
next week, folks. Starts next week. So excited! We can't wait to talk about
You
it.
guys create like full universes around these like mock drafts. Like there's a whole.
That's the beauty
There's
and the
a
fun of the
whole
off season. It is our Super Bowl as Lions fans. It's what can they do and what they're actually going to do and how it's going to disappoint you in the end. It's great times. All right,
So-
give me the
That was
third
really
one.
sad.
So the third round. Now this one, if this happens,
Yeah.
scares me.
Oh boy.
They pick.
Are
It
they
doesn't.
going to take
okay.
a quarterback?
No.
Okay.
Now
Prepare
this is
myself.
interesting because I thought he would go earlier,
Right.
but his combine was very good.
Okay, so
Now
let's
pick.
remember. Let's just for once again clarity. Third round, right? We're in the back half of the draft. It's Philadelphia's third round pick by trading Golden Tate.
Yeah.
So New England has our third round pick that resulted in Deshaun Hand. So I'm not bummed out about
No.
that. But so just for all the Lions
Yeah.
fans here, before it's bottom
So,
half of the third round.
I think I'm nervous if this happens because there's hindsight that we didn't get the guy I want.
Okay.
Deontay Thompson out of Alabama.
Really? I love that. Well, that also means a couple things, though. That means, what the hell did we do in free agency? Because that means we swung and missed everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa, okay.
Unless you're going for like a backup safety, but not in the third
Not in
round.
the third
So
round, but
then I'm
jeez.
looking at that's. I know. I looked
That's
at that and I was
crazy.
like, that makes me a little nervous.
Right,
seeing that third.
so what that tells me then is they went and probably got 3 tight ends in free agency. Dwayne Allen signed, Tyler Eifert signed, and Jesse James all signed.
No, you drafted a tight end in the second round.
No, they drafted a cornerback. I didn't want. I assumed it was going to be a tight end. They drafted a corner.
Oh,
but
you're right. Yeah, I was almost thinking
point being is
Oh, cool.
if they took a safety there, which is crazy because he went in one of the mock drafts he did earlier. He was our first round pick at 8.
Yeah, he was
right?
like the first one.
That is crazy
How
to
he
me,
just
right?
moves down.
I really think. Now, there's some reports out there that Trey Flowers is going to be in a bidding war between us and the Titans. I really hope that doesn't happen. I'd definitely rather have Landon Collins than I would Trey Flowers.
Yeah, I would too.
But so I'm really hoping Landon's coming here. He's going to join the rest of his Giants teammates that are actually already on the squad. So I'd love for that to happen. But in this scenario, I don't know what they did in free agency then. I really don't know what they did in free
So
agency. It's
I'm
very
going through
confusing.
this one. Actually, this one I'm using. I'm not using the one you sent me, just for future notes.
Yeah.
This is a 7-round one.
Oh, okay.
So I went through all the rounds. Nothing
Right.
big happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw anything or you
Nope.
know this guy. So in the 7th round pick 225 in the 7th round, we pick Nick Fitzgerald, a quarterback out of Mississippi State.
Okay. I you know what? Here's the thing about quarterbacks. I think that they're going to wind up taking one. I actually really like Brad Kaya. I'm kind of bummed that they actually got rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that the quarterback situation as it sits right now, I definitely think they will draft one. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be our quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? I don't think you have the luxury at 6 and 10 to take one in the second round like New England's notorious for doing.
Yeah.
So, do I think 4th round they take a quarterback? Probably,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do I think that they address a need there? Because I do think that is a need, and I do think you need to start having some plans, especially if Stafford doesn't play the way that we all expect him to play,
Mm-hmm.
which is, above what he did last year. So, doesn't surprise me, but 7th round quarterbacks to me are just like, all right, so you're a camp body and then you get cut.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my thing. So I'd rather take a guy earlier that I think, wow, he could either be a really solid backup, and we have Connor Cook too, who's going to possibly, compete for that. I can't believe I just said that out loud, but he could be something. Yeah,
I'm shocked.
yeah, right. I know.
All right.
So
that's
that
all
was
I
the
got.
3. Okay, that's that's not a bad draft, but it really means that I was bummed out for the whole month of March until until the draft came. All right, let's shift now from football talk for all you basketball fans. We're now on the LA Lakers. LeBron James.
Love that.
The dumpster fire of a time. Mike, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay to cry. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe next year. Hey, they're not out yet.
They're not up, man. Not
6.5 games out.
You know the Cavs are mathematically eliminated yet in the East, right?
I know. It's unfortunate.
All right. So
Should have been out already.
if you don't know, right, it's been a complete epic season failure for the LA Lakers, right? You failed to get Anthony Davis. It's just been, LeBron's injury, Lonzo's injury. We're not going to get in the debate of who's the greatest right now in the whole Michael Jordan thing. That's a topic for a whole episode we could spend 4 hours on, okay? And we will do it at one point. But Mike, I'm going to ask you, you're the LeBron fan, right? You've been following the team. Talk to me, man. What the heck is going on? Do you even care anymore? Are you worried? And more importantly, I don't really care about what's happening right this minute because we can all kind of see he's checked out. I think we can all agree that he's checked out for this year. I don't think he's healthy, number 2. I think he's just kind of just doing it and his natural ability. But what I am concerned about for the Lakers, if you're a Laker fan, does this impact free agency next year? Does this impact at all being able to sign a true number, like another guy, a Kawhi, a Clay, a KD, a Kyrie, whoever, right? It doesn't matter. Does this impact that? Because I think it does.
It absolutely does. I've always, for basketball purposes, I've always been in the camp of you can't do it alone. And you say, well, basketball is a superstar sport. Like, if you have one guy, you can't. Unfortunately, it's just impossible for one guy.
Even LeBron had Kyrie or Wade or Bosh,
and
right? Jordan had Pippen. We get it, right?
Last year was an exception year, but he also didn't win it. He got swept in the finals. Right. So you can make it there. You cannot win the championship as a solo artist.
Correct.
Unfortunately, it's just how it is.
Absolutely.
In any sport, anywhere, you cannot win it by yourself.
Yep.
So
I think we're all in agreement there.
Unless it's track.
Unless you're in track.
Unless it's track. Look at him bringing in the Olympics.
Guess
can't wait to not talk about that.
So you can't do it by yourself. Unfortunately, with LeBron's situation is you would think that he had last year's team was worse, so this year's team, you got Kuzma, you got Ingram, and you're also playing in the West.
Yeah.
Where right now, their record right now, they'd be the 8th seed in the East.
In the East, correct. Right.
With his injury, with everyone's injuries and everything.
I can't wait for us to do a LeBron topic because there's so many things, right? Like, he
There are.
chose to go to the West and this and that.
Well, he did, yes, he obviously did choose.
Right.
I think when he went there, I mean, you can look at it, you could probably go, he probably thought his team would be better.
Right.
You can add the injury bug wasn't great.
Sounds like LeBron does a lot of thinking he probably shouldn't do sometimes.
I think, but here's the thing that I think people kind of aren't realizing too. They haven't had all 5 starters healthy at the same time in quite a while, right? When he got hurt, they were the number 4 seed in the conference, right? Yes. But the thing that I'm scared for, if I'm a Laker fan, LeBron's going to get Luke Walton fired. Okay,
Yes.
I know you're not a big Luke Walton guy. No. However, I'm not necessarily an anti-Luke Walton guy. Here's why. Okay, I agree with you. He does make some coaching errors, right? Leaving Rondo out there for 19 minutes at a time when he's 55 years old. Not the best thought, right? But if the rumors are true that LeBron is trying to get Ty Lue to coach the LA Lakers,
I don't like that at all.
You're screwed.
Yes.
You don't do anything in 3 more years in LA because he can't coach.
No.
We've all proven he can't coach.
Yeah.
LeBron coached that team.
Yeah. The problem with that whole scenario is you're getting rid of a guy who can't really coach, in my opinion, but you're going to bring in someone that can't coach either.
Right. It's bad.
I think the only thing that Tyronn Lue does bring is he'll just sit there and let LeBron do what he wants.
You might as well give him a clipboard.
He might as well.
Right? You know what I mean?
It's unfortunate to say it like that, but
yeah.
I think the problem is LeBron's like, I want to do it this way. Luke Walton is actually like, no, I want to do it this way.
Right. And
it's not working like that because LeBron's never. Because here's the thing: the problem is you have guys like Jordan who had Phil Jackson, so he was always like, what's the best idea? LeBron has never had that coach. Really?
Do you think though that it's so hard to coach LeBron though? Too?
It probably is.
I think LeBron's a little bit of a coach killer, just a little bit. I don't want to use like Stephen A. Smith's words or anything because he's an idiot. But point being, he does not have a good. He got Blatt fired. He got he didn't have the best relationship with Mike Brown. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's probably gonna get Walton fired. Ty Lue got fired right after he left. That's not good. You know what I mean?
I think his biggest problem as a star is he just can't listen to management.
Right.
I guess
I think that's
his biggest problem.
And I think LeBron at this age, needs to start. And I think he really does because, like, I'm going to be honest, if he went to the Spurs would be top 3.
Yes.
With that team, right? Even with the trade to Kawhi and Rose and everything like that, Gasol wouldn't have got bought out. Aldridge would be running doing backflips, right? And you'd be a competing team right now.
You would.
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Honestly, if he went almost anywhere else, in my opinion.
Can you imagine if he went to the Nuggets? The Nuggets would be star-studded right now.
They would be.
Craziness.
There's so many teams that, like, they'd just be so much better.
Right. And business decision-wise, I get why you go to the Lakers, right? It's the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I also don't
legacy
think,
behind it.
and LeBron said it, I don't think, and I think this could be a problem that you could put against him later, is he doesn't really care about winning now. He's more like, he's probably in LA right now. Mm-hmm. He's making, songs and he's out every day, and he was hurt, and then he had to take time for load management issues. I think
he's
kind of nearing the end now.
You're a different LeBron fan, and that's why I love you so much. Just because I think you can understand the argument for fans that prefer Jordan, right?
Yes.
Compared to LeBron, because you understand some of the arguments. I will say this: I don't like Michael Jordan either. I'm a Piston fan. He played for the Bulls. I have no reason to like Michael Jordan. I have no reason to like LeBron James either.
Are you a Pistons fan though?
I am a Pistons. We're going to the game, for goodness sakes. Come on. But point being that LeBron James, and this is kind of like, one of the last things I want to say about this before we move on to the last topic here, but LeBron James, if this does not turn around in the next year or so, if they can't get somebody, he's going to be hurting. If they do, and it's still this bad, where he can't understand, he's going to have to adapt his game.
Yeah.
He's not the same anymore. That's the only way I can say it. Yes, he's 34 years old, and yes, I understand Jordan won a title at 34. I get it. But point being, it's different. LeBron's played 2 more seasons just in playoff basketball. You know what I mean? Than almost everybody in the league. So he's got to learn to change his game up.
Yeah.
I think he should basically completely go to power forward and just here, give me the ball and work the paint and work the paint. That's all he should do, because no one can stop him.
Yes.
Nobody can stop him, straight up. Mm-hmm. That fadeaway jumper, you're not defending.
Yes.
So he needs to change the way he plays, and I think he needs to allow the coach, whoever it is, to coach. And Magic Johnson should deserve some fault for this too, because Magic Johnson, your responsibility is to get LeBron and another star to LA to win another championship. They failed at that so far.
Yeah. Also, I don't know how you would feel if you're on a team and basically you're like, hey, you're gonna get traded.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go through, and now you're LeBron. And you're like, hey, my bad.
That's too, right?
I can't. It's not. And I think other people that like hate LeBron just go, yeah, LeBron trying to get him out. You can't say it's like LeBron's still a player at the end of the day, so you can't just be like LeBron trying to get him out.
I don't think
LeBron probably had a hand in it, but it was also like Magic trying to get that second guy in.
Right. He would have been better off, I feel like, just saying, you know what, I'm a player. I'm just here to play. I don't have any say in personnel decisions. Even if that's not true. Yeah. Then he can say it on record instead of saying, yeah, of course I'm trying to get guys here. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're killing me. Any thoughts on the LeBron disaster? Because obviously we have a lot of talk on it. Me and Mike talk about it pretty much every day. So what are your thoughts on him just basically, like almost taking the year off, I feel like, in a lot of ways? Just kind of chilling, rocking the New Jersey.
He's being a little bit of a bubba. He's being a little bit of a bubba.
We're gonna have a whole T-shirt line of Emily saying something.
You asked me to be on a sports podcast with you, and I didn't really like sports until I started dating this one. So you're gonna have some odd Emilyisms that happen because I don't have a good way to describe it.
That's why you're here.
He's being a little bit of a bubba.
Yeah.
He's gonna need to be like, I'm gonna be a big boy now, and I'm not gonna argue with everyone all the time.
Wow, this is hurting me.
Can
we go next topic?
Yeah, clearly, You're very momming him right now.
Basketball players got mega egos though. Like, have you ever watched a basketball game? Every time anything happens,
like 4.
These guys are like falling over, getting up. Every time anything happens, they're like in the ref's face.
Have you ever watched a soccer game though?
I'm not saying soccer.
They get touched.
Don't bring up the soccer guys.
Okay.
I like hockey.
They're gonna punch each other in the face.
Okay. No, fairness.
And everybody is.
If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to touch Rob, and he'll be out for 6 weeks.
That's true.
Okay.
It's just because I'm old. All right, let's stop making fun of soccer. I agree with you. I think that, like I said, he does have to change the way he plays, I think, and I think he's got to embrace the process and take that 76ers motto, embrace the process, but don't take 6 years to turn around and be
Okay, can we go to the next topic? Because I don't like this anymore.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty after they miss the playoffs. But anyway,
You just
as we
mocked
go.
him. He's a 34-year-old man now.
Exactly.
34-year-old men need their moms.
I know. It is what it is. All right, last topic of the day. We're talking wrestling. Dave Batista came back last week on Monday Night Raw, or 2 weeks ago now. We obviously didn't touch on it because Roman Reigns came back at the beginning of the show.
That's way more important.
That was way more important, right? But this, at the same time, though, is pretty big, I think, for the WWE. As you may or may not know, if you're a fan, Batista came back a few years ago to a rousing set of boos as he won the Royal Rumble, and everybody hated him for that entire run. He's now back. He's a heel. He attacked Ric Flair at his birthday celebration thing. He's feuding with Triple H. It's a little bit of a fresh spin on it from their previous feud. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Are you happy he's back, and what do you think of this feud with Triple H going into Mania? Because I think this match is going to suck.
I know, I'm not happy he's back.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I guess we can preference it by saying we haven't seen him wrestle yet, but I doubt that he can
It's not going to be any better than it was last time.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not excited that he's back. I mean, he's a good heel. He can talk he can talk on the mic, obviously, and they can hype the match up for all they want it to be. But realistically, it's going to be Triple H versus Batista 1-on-1.
And Triple H goes over.
For what? And Triple H goes over.
Yeah.
Like, you can almost predict it, and it's like, who really wants to see that? I guess you can add it in there.
Are you happy to see Batista back? Do you care? What do you think of this feud with Triple H? Because I have some thoughts that I kind of want to really hammer home. So just give me your thoughts on what you're thinking. Because
Randy Orton vibes. He gives me Randy Orton vibes.
Just Randy Orton vibes.
Yeah, so
you know what
boring?
I mean? Yeah, like boring, kind of anticlimactic. Not really my thing. Like, some of these guys, it cracks me up though, because when you first got into wrestling, when you were little, these are some of the guys. I mean, like you were talking about.
Yeah, well, Batista's. Let's not discredit what he's done, right? So,
no, he was
multi-time world champion,
great back
Royal Rumble winner,
starting
Guardians. Yeah, he's Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think I like him better.
He's a better actor than he is wrestler right now.
I think I like him better as Drax than I like him as Batista in the WWE.
Right.
No, I
if they brought Drax onto the WWE, that would be cool.
Yeah. Can we also bring Star-Lord out there then?
Yeah, right.
Just do the whole
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
The whole Guardians of the Galaxy team.
All right, so here's my only thing here, and I never like closing the show on a negative note, but this
I'll make it a positive.
There you go. See,
Okay.
that's what Mike does on the show.
I'll make it a positive.
Here's my problem. Triple H, the entire show, is a bad guy with this Becky Lynch deal, right? They're, you need to apologize. They're doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin shtick, okay? All for it. But then you got him coming out, and now he's a good guy. Defending Ric Flair, he's a 70-year-old man. In one of the Triple H promos that we've heard over and over and over again. And I'm a Triple H fan, okay? I like Triple H, okay? I'm not nearly as against him as most online wrestling fans are. But to say the same thing, nobody wants to see this match. Nobody cares about this match because at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen. And so you got Triple H playing both sides of the fence now. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? You can't do both. Now, this reeks of Batista coming back and saying, I want to work with Triple H, I want to be a heel, and that's what's going to happen, right? And that's the only way they got him. I get it. And for WrestleMania, will it be cool to see Dave again? Yes. Do I think he's actually doing some nice promo work, honestly? And I like the whole, do you hear me now thing? It's been really drawn out, so I like that. But the end result at Mania is going to be a really rough go. It's going to be worse than Seth and Triple H, where Seth's walking on one leg the entire time. It's going to be really bad. All right, Mike, finish us off on a happy note.
Okay, guys, here's my happy note for today. Seth Rollins is going to win the Universal title at WrestleMania. Lesnar will never hold it again, and we're all happy.
High five. High five?
Let's do it.
High five. That's awesome.
I'll give you one, too. Let's go.
That's my goal. I am so excited for WrestleMania. Obviously, we'll be talking that in depth. Guys, we have so many things to cover in the coming weeks. We've got March Madness, we've got WrestleMania, we've got free agency, we've got the draft. We have so many things coming up here. I'm so excited to be with you guys for each and every one of those main topics. As always, I am the Mouth of Michigan for the Merkzone,
right here,
for the Brain. Once again, this is episode 15 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I'll say that right. Yeah. I don't even know what the title is of the show anymore. We will see you guys, as always, next time.